Yeah, back at you. To continue off where I started off with my intro. So, I came from a family, where the men tend to have big dicks. So early on in my life, I was observing all that around there. So eventually, as 5 years old, 6 years old, you venture out into school and everything, and then you're introduced to like things as such as like the lavatory or the bathroom as they would call it. But then the urinal and the piss fights. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the piss fights when guys are trying to piss on each other's shoes and just to kid around and whatnot. But that was a place where the skills that I'd honed at my grandmother's house when I would shower shark my uncles and whatnot. Um, so it transferred over to elementary school in a bathroom. So, I would, look at guys, as they would piss and shit. And, around that age, typically, nobody had anything, they were pretty much, thimble dick, which was to be expected. But I remember eventually when it got to like fifth grade, there was this kid, he was like one of the first guys I saw around my age at the time that was able to like actually whip his dick out where it would, flop out and fall down. As, a fifth grader, so around that time we're like 10 years old. And I was just like, I remember standing next to him while we were handling our business at the urinal. And I remember, putting my work in and looking over and shit. And I saw like, wow, you know, bingo, there goes something. And I remember having that, that emotion and that, that inflection of a feeling. And I had like this, this like sort of like butterfly nervous feeling in my stomach. And I just remember how much it was like he was not, you know, any, he didn't stand out. He wasn't a tall person. He wasn't, he was rather mundane in his appearance, but he was one of the first guys that outside of my grandmother's house that, especially as close to my age that, had some significant dick size. And I was like, wow, okay. So there I was like, okay, so school is going to be like, place where I'm going to be looking and shit. So, looking here and there. And then come around summertime, we go to the public pool. And, certain situations when you're getting out the pool, um, your shorts are clinging very tightly to your body. And I remember strongly, as a very young kid, around 10 or 11, just, sitting around the edge of the pool, just waiting for guys, to get up out the pool and, push up from, waist high and, get out and stand up and get off and let the water just, fall down and whatnot. And at that same time, they wore the trunks and it would just, fall exactly and you would see the exact outline and print. And then you would, early on in that day, you would see who had what. And then as you um, conducted your day throughout the swimming pool, you would, keep your eyes on these certain people or this certain person who would, had the biggest package at the pool. And thus, when he got out the swimming pool, you would watch him push up and get out and, dry off and go. And then after that time, you know exactly who, to watch to get dressed or shower if he's bold enough to, drop trowel and take a shower. But definitely, a lot of kids at that time, they would just go home with their swimming shorts on or put some shorts on top of that and, go wet because it would be hot. And, they would just eventually evaporate. But you had those that would, strip butt ass naked and, let the meat hang. And, it started with elementary schools after my grandmom's house. And then it progressed into like the swimming pools and then I understood that the public urinals, but they were few and far in between because they were much more of a crapshoot. Because um, you don't know what you were getting into. So that's far as I'm saying. But I remember back how I understood the pecking order of like when guys would know that another individual had a really big dick and they didn't, and how they would give them that silent respect. I remember it because the youngest of my three uncles was the larger of the three, and it was just you can see the tension and understand the animosity, and it was kind of like for a time when they were all three there, um, you understood it. It wasn't like their barbs at each other was just like in fun. But that's part of the big dick politics and shit. And that's what I'm gonna get into this. But right now I'm gonna take a break, a pause for the cause. The Fallophiliac.